We had some lecture with him during COVID, but finally we were able to see him here personally. Basic introduction is that his disciple is Holiness Radhana Swami, but he has been author of more than 35 books. He's also Dean of Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapita at Govardhan Eco Village. He conducts many online courses, which we have seen many of them. And I think he's doing so many wonderful courses, and I was able to be part of it, where he's doing Bhakti Vaibhav course, and it's so mind-boggling that Achiran Mara is also there, and he's just saying what a wonderful knowledge depth he has for that one. He's conducted over the 7,500 hours of lectures in different institutions, including schools, colleges, very prestigious universities like NIT and IITs basically. And he's also a member of ISKCON Board of Examination. And he oversees the temple worship in Vrindavan Forest and Govardhan Eco Village. So we are so grateful that Prabhuji is here. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for coming here. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I am very grateful and happy to be amongst all of you this evening at ISKCON Baltimore. I offer my humble obeisances to all the devotees who have assembled here. with your blessings, I'll speak a words on Vaishnava character. The devotees wanted me to speak on the finer nuances of Vaishnava character. Not that I know all of them or I act on that level, but at least I aspire to do so. With that aspiration in the heart and with also a desire to seek blessings from all of you to be able to imbibe Vaishnava character and qualities for my own purification, I'll make this humble attempt. For the next 1 hour or so, we'll discuss. So why is it required for a Vaishnava to focus on development of one's own character and qualities and virtues and values, while Shravanam and Kirtanam are the topmost practices of bhakti? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Lord Krishna said, Bhagavad Gita says, Bhagavatam says, and Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, all our Vaishnava Acharyas and the Lord in various incarnations and all the scriptures are repeatedly emphasizing on the development of good Vaishnava character. Apart from doing our basic spiritual practices like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, worshipping the deities, studying scriptures, rendering various services to the best of one's ability. Apart from all this, development of virtues and character is of vital importance for our advancement in bhakti. We get the seed of devotional service, Bhakti Lata Bija, from a bona fide Vaishnava Guru. And we need to water that seed regularly. And the process of watering that seed is Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. Although we have the potent seed from a Vaishnava Guru, and although we are watering the seed by doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, if the soil is not fertile, the seed will not grow into a beautiful creeper and eventually touch the lotus feet of Krishna. For the seed of bhakti to grow into a great creeper, we need to have fertility of soil. Soil has to be fertile. And that fertility of soil is compared to Vaishnava qualities. And there are so many Vaishnava qualities described in our scriptures. Sadhu Lakshana, Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, 16th chapter, 2nd chapter, 12th chapter. In several chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke about Vaishnava character. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsak shantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atmavinigraha. A Vaishnava has to be humble. A Vaishnava has to be tolerant. And a Vaishnava has to be forgiving, satisfied, gratitude. Vaishnava has to be grateful. So all these beautiful qualities are enumerated in Bhagavad Gita in various chapters. Krishna personally emphasizes. Krishna definitely speaks on Ananyaschinta yanto mam ye janah paryupasati. One should always think of Krishna. Maya Vaishyamano yemam nitya yukta upasate. Mayyeva mana adhasva. Manmanabhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. You worship me. You always think of me. You offer obeisances to me. This way, yah shastra utsrujya vartate kamakarataha. He also emphasizes on the importance of shastric study. So, apart from all this, Krishna is also repeatedly emphasizing on developing good character, tolerance, humility, gratitude, compassion, satisfaction. It's required. Without that, bhakti cannot progress. We cannot advance in the process of bhakti. Similarly, Bhagavatam also describes the importance of Vaishnava character. In the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, Uddhava Gita, it's mentioned. Krishna personally describes several qualities of great devotees. And many other cantos, 4th canto, 5th canto, they also talk very elaborately about Vaishnava character. The 1st canto we see Vyasadeva being very humble in front of his guru Narada Muni. Parikshit Maharaj being very tolerant when he received a curse from Shamika Rishi. We saw in the 2nd canto of Bhagavatam Brahma being very, very humble. Narada Muni asked, Brahma, you are the creator of the universe. You must be knowing everything about the universe. You must be really exalted. You are the supreme creator. Then Brahma very humbly admitted, I am not the creator. The Supreme Lord Krishna is the creator. I only recreate what has already been created. You see? See the honesty, see the humility, see the obedience, see the acceptance of Krishna as the supreme. That requires humility. Again, in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, we see the non-envious character of all the plants, flowers, and even birds of Vaikuntha. And many other examples. In the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, we see Narada Muni describing the qualities of great devotees to Dhruva Maharaj. How a great devotee is never envious of anybody. Titikshavaha karunikaha suhurdaha sarvadehinam. How a devotee is tolerant. Lord Shiva, in the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, he exhibits great tolerance and forgiveness in his dealings with Daksha. In the 5th canto, Prahlad Maharaj personally says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra sabasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana. One who has akinchana bhakti, one who has unflinching devotion unto the Supreme Lord, has all the good qualities of even great devatas also in one's personality. Sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. All the gunas, all the qualities of great devatas also are present in the great devotee. So, 6th canto of Bhagavatam describes the beautiful character of Vritrasur. How much faith Vritrasur had, how much faith Dadhichi had towards Lord Vishnu. Chitraketu Maharaj's tolerance. Apart from describing the good qualities of great devotees, Bhagavatam also compares and contrasts all these great qualities with the bad qualities of some other people, demons. And even devatas also sometimes slightly deviate from their Vaishnava character, at least temporarily. Indra sometimes becomes proud, envious, arrogant, disrespectful towards his guru. We see Indra's difficulties in the 6th canto. When you come to the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, we see the humility and devotion and forgiveness and tolerance of Prahlad Maharaj, and the opposite qualities can be seen in Hiranyakashipu. In the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see the surrender of the great Gajendra. and tolerance and devotion and Atma Nivedanam of Bali Maharaj. Ninth canto beautifully describes the character of Ambarish Maharaj and many other devotees. 10th canto is filled with the pastimes of all the Vrajavasis, the gopis, how tolerant and how humble they are, how satisfied they are in just rendering service to the Lord, how simple-hearted they are. Simplicity is one of the most important qualities of a devotee. Simplicity means arjavam. Krishna also talks about simplicity in Bhagavad Gita. Simplicity is also called saralata. No duplicity, no diplomacy. Very, very straightforward, plain-hearted nature. 11th canto of Bhagavatam describes the humility of Uddhava. And 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam also describes the great qualities of Markandeya Rishi, Bhumi Mata, and many other such great personalities. So, from the first canto till 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see several beautiful, wonderful characteristics of so many Vaishnavas. The aspects of Vaishnava character, Vaishnava qualities are all pervading throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, no need to say. Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a literature where the Supreme Lord is acting as a devotee and exhibiting all the qualities that devotees are supposed to exhibit, whether it is humility or tolerance or simplicity or honesty or forgiveness or strictness in one's own sadhana and spiritual practices. In all ways, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is personally exemplifying Vaishnava character. And his exemplary devotees like Ramananda Rai, Prataparudra Maharaj, so much patience he had. He was waiting for the mercy of the Lord. So Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and many other Vaishnava literatures are emphasizing on the importance of developing Vaishnava character, genuinely respecting others for whatever they are. This is a beautiful shloka from the 4th canto. You also can recite after me. Titikshavaha karunikah suhridah sarvadehinam ajatashatravah shantah sadhavah sadhubhushanah. Titikshavaha means a devotee is very tolerant. Karunikaha, a devotee is very compassionate. Suhridaha sarvadehinam, a devotee is a genuine well-wisher of all living beings. Ajatashatravaha, there may be so many people in this world who may consider a devotee as their enemy, but a devotee never considers any living being as his or her enemy. Although Duryodhan hated Yudhishthir Maharaj in various ways, Yudhishthir Maharaj never hated Duryodhan. Although Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill Prahalad Maharaj, but Prahalad Maharaj prayed for the liberation of Hiranyakashipu. Although Suruchi always envied Suniti Mata, Suniti never hated Suruchi. And Suniti even taught her little son, 5-year-old son, Dhruva, not to desire harm for his stepmother Suruchi. So, Ajatashatravaha, Shantaha, a devotee is very peaceful, very calm, very sober, very composed, not agitated. Shantaha. Why a devotee is always Shanta and peaceful? Multiple reasons. One reason is a devotee does not have any material desire. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ata Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. One who is desiring for liberation or some siddhis or some material enjoyment, because there is a hankering, there is a lot of desire. Therefore, There is no shanti, there is no peace of mind. But Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, a devotee of Lord Krishna has no material desires. Atayeva Shanta, very peaceful. Another reason why a devotee is peaceful is devotee understands that Krishna is the supreme protector. Very beautiful. Devotee has complete understanding of Krishna's divinity, Krishna's exalted nature. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhurdam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shanti mruchati. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam, a devotee understands that Krishna is the bhoktar, enjoyer of everything. Yagna tapasam, Krishna is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Krishna is not only the supreme enjoyer, he is also the supreme proprietor of all planets. Yet, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, he is very dear to everyone, he is a genuine well-wisher of everyone. Krishna is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, a devotee also Suhridaha Sarva Dehinam, same points, same quality. A devotee and Krishna both are genuinely well-wishers of everybody. They are compassionate. And because the devotee understands Krishna's position and completely trusts Krishna for his protection and is always dependent on Krishna, definitely a devotee is very peaceful. A devotee doesn't desire anything for oneself. Tvad bhaktas saritam patim chulukavat khadyotavad bhaskaram merum pashyati loshtravat kibaparam bhume patim bhrutyavat Chintaratnachayam shilasakalavat kalpadrumam kashthavat samsaram trinarashivat kibaparam deham nijam bharavat. Tvad bhaktaha saritam patim chulukavat. The devotees of the Lord, when they see big rivers, they think that chulukavat. They are like small droplets of water. Basically, this shloka gives so many comparisons, only to emphasize that for a devotee, apart from their devotion to Krishna, everything else is not so exciting. It's insignificant. Not that they minimize the position of other things or other people, but they are not interested or excited to enjoy anything exalted in this material world because they are absorbed in bhakti. Tvad bhaktas saritam patim chulukavat. Saritam pati, even the best of all rivers, is like a drop of water for a devotee. Khadyotavad bhaskaram, even the glowing sun is like a mere firefly. Like mere fly that has some shining, right? Especially in monsoon, you see that. Merum pashyati loshtravat kibaparam bhume patim bhrutyavat. Merum pashyati loshtravat. Even if a devotee sees a big Meru mountain, he sees that it is lostra, a small pebble. Bhume patim bhrutyavat. Even if a devotee sees there is a big king, or you want to become a king, if some proposal comes to a devotee, no. Bhume patim bhrutyavat. Even if he is a bhumipati, even if he is a great landlord or a great emperor or a king, bhrutyavat, like a servant. Chintaratnachayam shilasakalavat. Even if a devotee is given so many chintamani stones, all these are pebbles, nothing better than that. Chintaratnachayam shilasakalavat. Shila means they are the stones. Kalpadrumam kashthavat. What is kalpadruma? A desire fulfilling tree. That's like a kashtavat, small piece of wood for a devotee. Kalpadrumam kashthavat samsaram trinarashivat kibaparam deham nijam bharavat. Samsaram trinarashi. This entire samsara material existence is like a trinarashi. It's like a pile of grass for a devotee. Deham nijam bharavat. One's own body he considers is like burden I'm carrying. While many people get excited with all these things, material existence, exciting. Position of a king, exciting. Sun, glowing sun, oh, amazing. What is sun's shine in front of Krishna's shine? Sun and moon are just borrowing some effulgence from Krishna and transmitting it, retransmitting it. That's all they are doing. So, a devotee doesn't get excited with anything material. There is complete dedication, complete devotion. And that devotion towards Krishna is the basis of all the Vaishnava qualities that a devotee has. Bhakti is the basis. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana. When a devotee has bhakti, sarvair gunaistatra sabhasate suraha. All the qualities of all suras, all the devatas also become manifest in the personality of such devotees. Bhakti is the basis. And the association of such great devotees is so uplifting, so elevating. A devotee's character should be so exemplary that the association of such an exemplary devotee uplifts others' consciousness. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about this quality of a devotee. Tulayamala venapi nasvargam napunarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutasishaha. You take a tula, you take a balance. On one side you put lavamatra sadhu sangha. Tulayama lavenapi. Lava means a fraction of a second. You put on one side. Na swargam napunarbhavam. The ultimate result of swargalok. Ultimate result of karma path is swargalok. Then, ultimate aspiration of a gnani is mukti, liberation. You put liberation and heaven on one side of this tula. So this lavamatra sadhu sangha weighs more than that apavarga and swarga. You see. So a slight trace of bhakti means one of the aspects of bhakti yoga, which is sadhu sangha, and even slightest portion, fragmental portion of that element of sadhu sangha completely outsmarts the ultimate results of karma path and jnana path. That's the potency of sadhu sangha. Why? Sadhu has sadhu bhushana, ornaments. Sadhavaha sadhu bhushana, we just saw some time back. Sadhavaha sadhu bhushana. All the sadhus have these sadhu qualities like tolerance, compassion. So the qualities of a devotee are the real ornaments of a devotee. Devotees may not wear many ornaments. Sometimes they may wear also. All the devotee kings whose stories are described in Bhagavatam, because they are kings and emperors, naturally they may wear a dazzling crown and bracelets and anklets and necklaces. But they are not the real ornaments of a devotee. But the real ornaments of a devotee, real ornament of a devotee is the character. Humility, tolerance, compassion. And association of such devotees is so purifying. And even the remembrance of such devotees is so purifying. Yesham samsmaranat pumsaham sadyah shuddhyanti vaigraha kim punardarshana sparsha pada shauchasanadibhi. Yesham samsmaranat pumsaha, just the remembrance of a great Vaishnava. Sadyah shuddhyanti vaigraha, that will completely purify all our hearts and homes. Kim punar darshana sparsha pada shauchasanadibhi. If this is so, if remembrance of a devotee is so uplifting and elevating and purifying, what to speak of seeing such a devotee, touching such a devotee, washing the lotus feet of such a devotee? It's so purifying, it's so sanctifying. Why? Devotees have Vaishnava character apart from their devotion to Krishna. Devotees are so pure that they purify even holy places. When Bhagirath, with great determination, prayed for the descent of Mother Ganga river on this planet, so that his forefather 60,000 sons of Sagar Maharaj could be delivered, Ganga Mata had a question. She asked Bhagirath, Bhagirath, if I come to this earth planet, so many sinful people will take bath in my waters and dump all their sinful reactions in me. What will happen to me? Should I accumulate all their sinful reactions? Is that what you mean? Then Bhagirath said, my dear mother, don't worry. When pure devotees of Lord Hari take bath in your waters, all the sinful reactions that are dumped by sinful people who take bath in your waters are completely eradicated. Means pure devotees can purify even the holiest river like Ganga from all sinful reactions. That's why when Vidura went to so many pilgrimage places and came back to Hastinapur, Yudhishthira Maharaj glorified Vidura, saying that, Vidura, what all holy places have you visited? In fact, you yourself are like a holy place, moving holy place. Holy places don't move, but holy devotees move. And these holy devotees are holier than holy places. In fact, their presence makes a holy place holy, and their presence purifies holy places from all dumped sinful reactions by sinful people. That's why he says, Bhavadvidha Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantahasthena Gada Bhrita Bhavadvidha Bhagavataha. Yudhishthira Maharaj is glorifying Vidura, saying that, oh Vidura, great devotees like you, Tirtha Bhutaha Swayam Vibho, you yourself are holy places personified. Tirthe Kurvanti Tirthani. And you purify even holy places also. You make holy places holy. Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. Why? Swantastena Gadabhrita. Because you have always carry the Supreme Lord within your hearts. Because of the presence of the Lord within your hearts, you will purify even holy places. And the association of such devotees, whether taken consciously or unconsciously, the association of such devotees will purify us. That's what Mother Devahuti speaks in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prasangamajaram pasham atmanah kavayo viduhu sa eva sadhu shukrito mokshadvaram apavritam. Prasangamajaram pasham atmanah kavayo viduhu. If we take the association of materialistic people, that will be the cause of bondage to all of us. Sa eva sadhu shukrito. But if you take the association of sadhus, mokshadvaram apavritam, it will open doors for liberation. And it's not impersonal liberation, by the way. It's liberation for a devotee is being reinstated in one's original constitutional position as an eternal servant of Krishna and doing that eternal activity of service to Krishna. That is our constitutional position. That is liberation. Okay. So, when we consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally, deliberately or accidentally take the association of a pure devotee, of a sadhu who has all these Vaishnava qualities like compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, etc., then doors of liberation are opened for us. That's the effect of sadhu sangha. That's the effect of associating with great sadhus. We discussed this. One more aspect of a sadhu or a Vaishnava is empathy. Means considering others as one's own self. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र. Atma upamyena means everybody is equal to myself. Just like when I encounter some pain, I'll feel so much distressed. Whenever there's a difficulty in our lives, we feel distressed. So when I have a difficulty, I feel bad. Similarly, if he has some difficulty, he will also feel bad. When I feel bad, I expect others to help me, support me, favor me, console me. Similarly, when others are in difficulty, I need to extend a helping hand and support them to the best of my ability. A Vaishnava is paradukha dukhi. Seeing others in distress, Vaishnava feels distressed. Seeing others in happiness, a Vaishnava rejoices. That is Atma upamyena sarvatra. Samam pashyati yo Arjuna. He sees everyone equally. All are equal. Equal in the sense that not literally equal, but they're all servants of the Lord, potentially. They're all fragmental parts of the Lord. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatanaha. They're all my amshas, Krishna says, right? Therefore, a devotee empathizes and sympathizes with everybody. So we have discussed quite a few aspects of Vaishnava and importance of developing Vaishnava character and the glory of having good character. Now, let's see some example of Haridas Pandit. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes in the 8th chapter of Adilila, what was his inspiration or what was the background for his composition of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. In those days, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's biographies were existent in the form of Chaitanya Bhagavat written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, Chaitanya Charita written by Murari Gupta, Chaitanya Mangal written by Lotin Das Thakur. So many biographies are already existing. Why there is another biography, Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So he gives a background. There is a great devotee in Vrindavan who was serving Radha Govinda Dev. His name is Haridas Pandit. And this Haridas Pandit instructed Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to write Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? Vrindavan Das Thakur's biography is considered very elaborate in those days. He has written Chaitanya Charitamrita so nicely, Chaitanya's biography so nicely. However, he elaborately described the initial pastimes or the pre-sannyas pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he did not and could not describe the later pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Haridas Thakur, who wanted to hear the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya after his sannyas, he requested Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, can you please write? Then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami felt obliged and he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. So what were the qualities of Haridas Pandit, who inspired and instructed and requested Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to write Chaitanya Charitamrita? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself describes the qualities of Haridas Pandit. Very beautiful. Sushila Sahishnu Shanta Vadanya Gambhiram Madhura Vachana Madhura Cheshta Mahadhira Sabar Sammana Karta Karena Sabar Hita Kautilya Matsarya Himsa Najaneta Rachita Vaishnavera Gunagrahi Nadekhiya Dosha Kaya Mano Vakya Kare Vaishnava Santosha Sushila Sahishnu Shanta Vadanya Gambhira. Sushila means he is endowed with best character. Shanta, Sahishnu. Sahishnu means tolerance. A devotee is more tolerant than a tree. Mahaprabhu says this. Tranadapi sunichena taro rapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniyaha sada harihi. Second quality is sahishnutva, means tolerance. More tolerance than a tree. Even if somebody throws stones at a tree, the tree only returns flowers and fruits to such a person. The tree gives shade to everybody. Today I was working on Chaitanya Bhagavata Subodhini 10th canto, specifically that section where Lord Krishna glorifies the trees of Vrindavan, in the 22nd chapter of 10th canto. He says, Etavajjanma safalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranair arthair dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. This is how one has to make one's life successful and meaningful and purposeful. How? By dedicating one's prana, artha, dhiya, vacha, shreya acharanam sada, for the welfare of other people. Prana means life, artha means wealth, money, dhiya means intelligence, vacha means words. One has to utilize all these four faculties one has for the welfare of other people. That is the best way of utilizing one's life. And where do we learn this from? The trees. The trees are teaching this lesson. Whatever they have, they are dedicating for others' welfare. And in doing so, they are being tolerant. They tolerate heat, they tolerate cold, they tolerate rain, and they give us shade, they give us warmth, they give us cooling effect. They give us flowers, they give us fruits. And whatever comes out of a tree, the tree doesn't utilize it. Tree offers it to others. This is the nature of a devotee. Sahishnutva. Sushila, Sahishnu, Shanta. Shanta we already discussed very elaborately. Shanta, devotee is very peaceful. Vadanya Gambhira. Vadanya means a devotee is very magnanimous, very benevolent. And the greatest display of benevolence is to inspire everyone to come to Krishna consciousness. That is Vadanya. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padarayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanya. His devotees are also Vadanya. Means very magnanimous. Why Lord Chaitanya is magnanimous? Because Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is offering Krishna Prema to everyone. He is offering Krishna consciousness to everyone. And whoever is assisting Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in distributing this greatest gift of Krishna consciousness is also Vadanya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's one of the foremost devotees is Srila Prabhupada. How much Vadanyata he had, how much compassion he had. He distributed Krishna consciousness all over the world. We are sitting in America, Baltimore. So wherever we go, in multiple cities, big cities, we are seeing Srila Prabhupada in such wonderfully decorated simhasan, receiving worship, because he has distributed Krishna consciousness. Can you just imagine? You come to a different country and there are devotees everywhere. There are bead bags everywhere. Devotees are chanting Hare Krishna, doing Harinam Sankirtan, studying Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, wearing Vaishnava dress, Vaishnava tilak, and worshipping Prabhupada, worshipping Radha Krishna deities, Gaurang deities, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities. Not a small thing, not a small achievement. Krishna Shakti vina nahe tara pravartan. How much Krishna Shakti that Srila Prabhupada had to be able to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, in different countries. So, Vadanya, means one who is extremely magnanimous. Gambhira means a devotee is very grave, like an ocean, very deep. Thoughts are deep. Intentions are deep. Emotions are deep. Emotions are for Krishna and other devotees. Intentions are to spread Krishna consciousness. Thoughts are divine, very positive, very deep. Plans are deep. How exactly am I implementing this great method or implementing this plan to bring more souls to Krishna? Deep plans. Madhura Vachana, Madhura Cheshtam Mahadhira. Madhura Vachana means a devotee also speaks very sweetly, just like Krishna speaks very sweetly. Madhuraya gira valguvakyaya budhamanognaya pushkarekshana. Madhuraya gira. Krishna, Gopi Gita, in Gopi Gita, the gopis are saying, Madhuraya gira. Krishna's words are so sweet, his voice so sweet. Valgu Vakyaya. His appeals, his conversations are very sweet, his statements are very sweet. Budhamanognaya. Because Krishna speaks so sweet, even great intelligent personalities, scholars, philosophers, sages also become attracted by Krishna's speech. Budhamanognaya. Great intellectuals also are captivated by Krishna's eloquent speech. Similarly, Haridas Pandit is also having Madhura Vachana. Then Madhura Cheshta, very sweet activities. Mahadhira, very composed and sober person. Then Sabar Sammana Karta Karena Sabarhita, very important point. Sabar Sammana Karta means he is the one who respects everybody. Sammana. One of the four qualities that Mahaprabhu emphasizes so much in Sikshashtakam is respect. Respecting, genuinely respecting everyone for whatever they do, whatever they are. This respecting other devotees, respecting every living entity is one of the foremost qualities of a Vaishnava. Because without genuinely respecting other living beings, we cannot expect to reach Krishna. Ultimately, every single living being and every single non-living object also is Krishna's energy, isn't it? One is material energy, one is spiritual energy. Ultimately, all of them are Krishna's energies. How can we disrespect the energies of Krishna and expect a relationship with Krishna? For a devotee, every single living being is a part and parcel of Krishna. Recently we celebrated Narasimha Chaturdasi. In that story of Narasimha Dev, the greatest devotee Prahlad Maharaj was under the guidance of Shanda and Amarka initially. And Shanda and Amarka were forcefully teaching diplomacy, politics, dharma, artha, kama, sama, dana, bheda, danda, all kinds of materialistic topics to Prahlad Maharaj forcefully. And they were teaching him, all the demons are our friends, all the devotees of Lord Vishnu are our enemies. Prahlad Maharaj said, what kind of teaching is this? And what kind of teachers are you? You are teaching me to consider other people as enemies? I don't see anybody as enemy. Everybody is a child of God. Everybody is potentially a devotee of the Supreme Lord. How can I consider anybody as enemy? No, there's something wrong in your overall thinking. So Prabhupada writes a brilliant purport there. 7th canto, 5th chapter, 12th purport. You can go back and read. He talks about Vaishnava thinking or Vaikuntha thinking. Vaishnava thinking or Vaikuntha thinking is that every devotee must be allowed to render service to the best of one's ability, and every devotee's service is appreciated. Every devotee's service is genuinely appreciated by other devotees, whether it's big or small. The contribution of a devotee, whether it's big or small, other devotees encourage and appreciate the devotee. Without any envy, without any sense of superiority complex. When another devotee is performing well in Krishna's service, there is a sense of inferiority complex. When other devotees are not sufficiently performing well in their Krishna consciousness or in their services, we may feel a sense of superiority complex or pride. But this pride and envy, or superiority complex or inferiority complex, they have no place in the heart of a devotee. A devotee doesn't unnecessarily compare or compete with other devotees only to establish oneself better than others, but a devotee genuinely respects everyone for whatever they are. That is why Sabar Sammana Karta, Karena Sabara Hita. Hita means welfare. He works for the welfare of every living being, every devotee. Kautilya Matsarya Himsa na jane tara chitta. Kautilya means diplomacy. Matsarya means envy. Himsa, violence. Na jane tara chitta. So these qualities of duplicity, diplomacy, envy, violence, they are not there within the heart of Haridas Pandit at all. Himsa, violence, of course. No meat eating is one of the regulative principles. Definitely a devotee doesn't commit any violence towards anyone else. But violence is not just killing somebody. When we speak very harsh words to discourage others and to disappoint others, or demean or disrespect others, that itself is great violence. A devotee doesn't commit such kind of violence. Verbal violence, emotional violence. You're not hurting the person physically, but you speak a few bad words, discouraging words, demean them, they feel hurt. Their heart is hurt. Although hands and legs are not hurt, the heart is hurt. So that causes more pain. But Karena Sabarahita, Kautilya Matsarya, nothing is there. Next, very important point. Vaishnavera gunagrahina dekhiye dosha, kaya mano vakya kare, Vaishnava santosha. Vaishnavera gunagrahi. A devotee, here Haridas Pandit, is Vaishnavera gunagrahi, means he accepts the good qualities of other Vaishnavas. When we are so overwhelmed with our own activities, when we are too occupied with our own priorities, when we are so self-obsessed and self-centric, then we cannot recognize or acknowledge the qualities of other devotees or contributions of other devotees. But you see, Vaishnavera gunagrahi. A devotee constantly observes the good qualities and good activities of other devotees and becomes very conscious of other devotees rather than conscious of one's own self. I did so much. I did this service. I did that service. I am successful in this way. I have accomplished this and that. So devotee is not overly obsessed with one's own accomplishments and achievements, but a devotee genuinely acknowledges others' contributions. A devotee, however much service a devotee does, a devotee always thinks that I haven't done much. These devotees have done a lot. So let us appreciate this devotee. So Vaishnavera gunagrahi. Even if there are some faults in other Vaishnavas, it's good to just ignore them and focus on their brighter side. If you happen to be their trainer and you are responsible for their overall functioning, then just to help them, Sabarahita, you see, Karena Sabarahita. In the mode of being a well-wisher, you may correct them, you may help them grow, that's fine. To that degree, finding the shortcomings of another devotee only to help them grow, that's fine. But for no reason, finding fault in another devotee just to criticize them, demean them, discourage them, pass derogatory comments on them, and create a very negative and unpleasant ambience, surcharging the atmosphere with negative vibrations, that's such a disservice, you see. When we genuinely appreciate other devotees' good qualities, genuinely, not like flattery, but genuinely appreciate other devotees' good qualities, they'll perform better. They'll do more seva. They'll grow. When you are focusing on their brighter side, you are making their brighter side much brighter, more brighter, more and more bright. Because you are trying to bring their attention towards their own good qualities and fanning that spark so that they develop on those good qualities. Somebody did this good service. Oh wow, wonderful, amazing service. Now these children may be doing some good service. You encourage them. Say they have made some garland. See, this garland is so beautiful, amazing, nicely made garland. If you just appreciate them like that, then they will make much better garlands. Even if you have to give a correction, you can say, oh, this flower, here only 3 flowers you kept, but here you kept 4 flowers. Oh, it would be good if you could put 4 on both sides. There will be balance. But it's very wonderful garland. You just appreciate them, and even the correction also can be given lovingly. They'll improve on that. But if you focus only on this fact that here only 3 flowers, here 4 flowers, entire garland is so nicely made, but you are just focusing on one little shortcoming, one little defect, and that discourages them. You don't know how to make garlands. Next time don't come here. Don't touch garlands. You do something else. You do cleaning there. Do jhadu pocha there. Mopping there. You are not qualified to come in. You are spoiling. This has to be offered to Krishna. You know how much care you have to put for this? You may say all true, good things also, all truthful things also, but what's the point? Other devotee is discouraged. Other devotee is completely disappointed. So, Vaishnavera gunagrahi. Na dekhiye dosha. It doesn't see faults in them. Kaya mano vakya kare Vaishnava santosha. Kaya with one's own body. Mana with mind. Vakya with statements. Kare Vaishnava santosha. We need to please other devotees. We need to make them happy. Make Vaishnavas happy with your body, mind and words. Don't discourage Vaishnavas. Don't disrespect Vaishnavas with body, mind and words. Whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever we think, must be to please Krishna. Samsiddhir haritoshanam ataha pumbhirdvijasreshtha varnashrama vibhagasah swanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. While Bhagavatam says all our endeavors must be directed towards the pleasure of Lord Hari, samsiddhir haritoshanam, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, kaya mano vakya kare Vaishnava santosha. All your words and activities and thoughts must be directed towards pleasing Vaishnavas. Samsiddhir haritoshanam Vaishnava santosha. Samsiddhir haribhakta toshanam. That's the aim of life. This is what Haridas Pandit is. Can someone take a mic and read this statement? This is from Prabhupada's purport of that same shloka.
Hare Krishna. It is a qualification of a Vaishnava that he is adosha darshi. He never sees others' faults. Of course, every human being has both good qualities and faults. Therefore it is said, Sajjana gunam icchanti dosham icchanti pamaraha. Everyone has a combination of faults and glories. But a Vaishnava, a sober man, accepts only a man's glories and not his faults. For flies seek sores, whereas honeybees seek honey. Haridas Pandita never found fault with the Vaishnava, but considered only his good qualities.
When a housefly enters a garden, it only makes noise in the garden, disturbs people, and explores everything restlessly and ends up in garbage, dustbin. Use me. On dustbin, sometimes use me is written, and a fly thinks that I have to use it and starts exploring all the garbage there. That is what a housefly does. But what does a honeybee do? It just goes into the garden, searches a nice honey laden, freshly blossomed flower, goes there and takes nectar. Nothing else matters for a honeybee. So we are supposed to be like honeybees, not houseflies. Houseflies only create disturbance and they focus on negativity. And honeybees don't create disturbance, but focus on positivity and sweetness. Yes, as Prabhupada says, every human being has both good qualities and faults. Both are there. Sajjana gunamichanti doshamichanti pamaraha. Everyone has a combination of faults and glories, but if we are sajjan, we focus on good qualities. If we are pamara, then we focus on bad qualities. Focusing on the bad qualities only to correct them and improve them and help them is fine. But to focus on bad qualities only to disrespect them and discourage them is very much against Vaishnava culture. So that's these are some qualities of Haridas Pandit. How much time do we have? There's no end to this discussion. We can stop whenever we have to stop. Okay, I'll take a few more qualities. So we spoke about so many qualities like no fault finding, no envy, no superiority complex, no inferiority complex. This kind of qualities we have seen. Another important quality of a Vaishnava is compassion. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya akhilatmanaha. Tapyante lokatapena. Devotees undergo so many troubles and difficulties. Sadhavaha prayasho janaha. Almost always they take up so many endeavors and troubles upon themselves for the welfare of others. Tapyante lokatapena. They do tapa to counteract others' tapa. Tapa is misery and tapa is austerity. They take up austerities, voluntary inconveniences upon themselves to destroy the difficulties of other people. And that is Parama Aradhanam Tabdi, that's the topmost form of worship of the Lord. Purushasya Akhilatmanaha. Prabhupada was contemplating while sitting in Vrindavan. He was thinking, people in the Western world, they don't know what it means to live without sense gratification. I need to offer this Vrindavan experience to them. I need to offer Krishna to them. While many devotees in Vrindavan were attending Mangalartis in all the prominent temples, chanting Radhe Radhe, Krishna Krishna, Vrindavan in those days was surcharged with spiritual vibrations, very peaceful. Prabhupada is also very respected personality. But Srila Prabhupada came out of Vrindavan, not at heart, but physically. Physically, he crossed the oceans and came to the West to give Vrindavan to the people here. So this is Prabhupada's compassion. Just like Lord Shiva drank poison to protect all the people in the universe from this halahal that came out of Samudra Manthan. Prabhupada also suffered a couple of heart attacks, seasickness, to give Krishna, to give Vrindavan to the people of this world. So this is compassion. Before 1965, Prabhupada was the author of 3 books. After 1965, 60 books. He became the author of 60 books. Before 1965, Prabhupada had one initiated disciple. After that, he had more than 4,000 disciples. Before 1965, no one would believe that he would fulfill a vision of worldwide society for Krishna consciousness. He's closing 70. But after that, he opened more than 100 centers of ISKCON all over. Never been outside India, but traveled. After 1965, he traveled all over the world several times. So this is Prabhupada's compassion. All this is a display of Prabhupada's compassion. How much such a devotee can become dear to the Lord. You can just imagine. Prabhupada writes, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, what are those qualities that make one dear to Krishna? He says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraham samadukha sukhakshami. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. A devotee is not envious of anybody. Sarva bhutanam. Maitraha, very friendly towards everyone. Karuna evacha, very compassionate. Nirmama, nothing belongs to me. Nirahankaraha, no false ego. Nirmama means nothing belongs to me. There is no sense of possessiveness. Even if a devotee has so many possessions, like all our great emperors like Ambarish Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, they had so many possessions, but they had no possessiveness. Nirahankaraha, no false ego. Ahankara. They had great identities, but there is no false sense of identity with that so-called designations. Nirahankara. Having designations is not wrong. Being egoistic is wrong. Having possessions is not wrong. Being possessive is wrong. Janma Aishwarya Shratashri Bhiredhamanamatah Puman. Janmaishwarya Shritashri Bhir Edhamanamatah Puman. Jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya ki Jai. Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai. Gaur Sundar Bhagwan ki Jai. This is my first darshan of their lordships. I can't be sitting and speaking. Curtain just opened. Huh? Huh? Yeah, I'll conclude in a few minutes. Will the darshan? 10 minutes, yeah. I'll finish in 5 minutes. So, Adveshta sarva bhutana maitraha karuna evacha. Adveshta. There is no dvesha in the heart of a devotee. Maitraha karuna evacha. Maitri means a devotee is very friendly. Karuna, we already discussed. Samadukka sukakshami. Also a devotee is equal to all living beings and equal in all situations, dualities. Samadukha sukakshami. Whether it is a happy moment or a distressful moment, for a devotee it's all same. Why is it same? Because both happiness and distress, both are temporary. Happiness and distress, both are temporary. Both are material. When there is a happy moment, a devotee doesn't become so elated, so overexcited, so proud or overconfident. When there is a distressful moment, a devotee doesn't become so depressed or demotivated. But a devotee understands both are happening for a reason, for my purification. So I shouldn't be unnecessarily overwhelmed by it. If you are getting too overwhelmed by the happiness and distress on a material plane, what's the point? Are we ready for spiritual plane? So, when we become indifferent to the happiness and distress on a material plane, then we are ready for the spiritual plane. But when we are not indifferent, when we are getting too affected or too overwhelmed by the happiness and distress on a material plane, we are not yet ready for there. Material world is a world of duality. In this world of duality, there is happiness, there is distress, there is success, there is failure, there is victory, there is defeat, there is heat, there is cold. Dualities exist. The existence of dualities should not disturb a devotee so much. One has to do the needful. Yeah, I'll have to do the needful in this situation. Whatever may be the appropriate course of action, I'll just take. But I cannot take it so much to my heart that I completely lose focus on my spiritual life. Sometimes devotees say, I have so many difficulties. I'm unable to hear Krishna Katha. I'm unable to focus on chanting the holy names of Krishna. No, it's like saying that I am sick, I can't take medicine. Why do you not take medicine? I'm so sick, therefore I'm unable to take medicine. Because you are sick, you have to take medicine. Right? I have so many difficulties, therefore I'm not taken to spiritual life. I'm not hearing, I'm not chanting. And because you are in difficulties, you are in the material world, entrapped in the material body, experiencing material miseries, you have to take to spiritual life. So, this is a little irony. Okay, I think we have enough. We have discussed many qualities. There is no end to it. There are some more than 100, 150 slides. I think I must have showed a few of them. Should we take questions? Yeah, we'll take darshan for a few minutes and then we'll take questions. Thank you. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Short kirtan. Prabhu comes to sit instead of everybody talking. Anything? Last card. Would you like to sing for a couple of minutes?
What happened?
Oh, you want to use harmony? She wants to sing. Satya, you will hold for it.
Okay. You want to?
Till Prabhu comes to sit, okay? Till Prabhu comes to the seat only. Give minutes.
Last time I took it out.
Till Prabhu goes with.
I know, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Just finish it. It's okay. Okay?
So we'll have few question and answers with Prabhuji's allowed a few minutes. So you can have anybody's questions.
Anyone has questions, you can raise your hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, and thank you so much for so much nectar. I was having one question. You talked about one of the quality of a devotee. So he sees the good thing in other and not seeing the fault in others. Even though you gave the example of the garland as well. Of course, and as you mentioned, if we are the caretaker or the authority, then we, as a service, correct that person. Otherwise, no need. In our movement or ourselves also, there are great devotees, great stalwarts. There are always so many good things in them, 90% good thing. But still, the faults are somewhat evident. Although we don't want to focus on them, we want to focus on the good thing and take the good thing and leave the bad.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I got the question. As long as one is a sadhaka bhakta, sadhaka means on the practice stage, not yet perfect. So when someone is in the practice stage, naturally there may be some shortcomings, some inconsistencies, irregularities, faults. Hare Krishna. When somebody becomes completely pure devotee, perfect devotee, then there are no faults. But when someone is in practice stage, to the degree they are mature, to that degree they are relieved from shortcomings. An neophyte devotee may have more shortcomings, an advanced devotee will have less shortcomings, but shortcomings are there, small or big. So we need to focus on the brighter side. And as you said, if we are their caretakers, if we are responsible to rectify some of the mistakes they do, then you may do the needful as a well-wisher, just to help them, but not to discourage or defame them, highlight that so much, magnify that so much that you ignore all the good service they have done. Prabhupada writes, when a senior person does a mistake, how should we see? 3rd Canto 12th chapter purports. He gives 3 beautiful tips for us. First, don't lose discrimination. Don't lose discernment or discretion. Whoever does a mistake is a mistake. Just because they are doing this, let me also do it. Because they are doing it, it's a bona fide activity, let me also do it. One shouldn't see it that way. One should see mistake as a mistake and good thing as a good thing, and one should not unnecessarily follow or imitate the mistake done by someone, although they happen to be a senior person. Okay. So that's first point. Don't use discrimination, in short. Second point is, don't disrespect the person who has done the mistake. Because tejiyasam na doshaya. When a very sun can evaporate moisture even from stool and urine. But if we touch stool and urine, we have to take a bath. Sun is not affected by it. So just because sun is evaporating, we cannot go and touch stool and urine. Simple. So what they may do and remain unaffected, we may not do it. If we do it, we will get affected. So don't disrespect them for what they have done, but don't imitate them also. Thirdly, just learn the lesson that's meant for us to learn. If such an exalted and senior person, experienced person can do this mistake, even I can also do it. So let me be little careful. Does it make sense? Any other question?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, question is always we feel that there is like a gap. Never mind how much Vaishnava qualities we try to develop, at least as aspiring sadhakas in the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, there is always that gap that remains. And we feel that, we have a lot yet to go. We are far from, becoming in that state of rendering humble devotional service. So the mood is good. That is the Vaishnava Acharyas, how they are propagating. Yet the feeling of discontentment remains. So what is the advice in that regard to continue, rendering service in that spirit, yet remain dissatisfied, discontent that we are still far from.
A devotee, however advanced one may be, however qualified one may be, a devotee never feels that he or she is qualified or perfect or advanced. So that is natural humility of such a advanced devotee. But for a struggling sadhaka, it's not humility, it's reality. Yes, I am not yet up to the mark. I have a long way to go. That's the reality. And honesty. A devotee is honestly admitting one's own position. Someone who is not so exalted but acts as if he is exalted or boasts of oneself as if I'm so exalted, that is hypocrisy. But someone is not yet up to the mark, and one knows that, one acknowledges where one stands, and struggles and tries hard, tries one's best to grow, to advance. So that's a bona fide sadhaka. The sadhaka knows where he or she is supposed to go and where one is and what is the gap, as you said, gap. One acknowledges the gap, and by doing sadhana day by day, that gap has to reduce. Day by day, month by month, year by year, decade by decade, probably lifetime by lifetime. The gap has to reduce. But as much as possible, Prabhupada says, finish off in one lifetime. But still, that's the life of a sadhaka. There is nothing to get discouraged or disappointed about it. One should humbly carry on. One should humbly move on. So the gap should not scare us, should not discourage us or disappoint us. The gap should only make us more determined and responsible and more committed and make us more intense in bhakti. If the awareness of the gap between where we are and where we are supposed to be is inducing discouragement and disappointment and discontentment or dissatisfaction in us, that's not that healthy. But if it is increasing our determination and zeal and commitment and intensity in our practice, then it's good. So let the awareness of that gap make us work harder and make us more and more prayerful. That is humility. Humility, we're learning from His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj in our recent Bhakti Vaibhav session. Humility on the physical plane is to engage in menial services, to offer obeisances. That's humility on physical plane. Humility on verbal plane, on the level of speech, is to express how fallen one is, or to verbally mention that I have these shortcomings and I have faults, I am not yet up to the mark. But that expression of humility in terms of speech must be a product of humility within the heart, within the mind. So at heart or within the mind, if somebody is genuinely repentant for all the mistakes one has done, and also genuinely repentant that I'm not yet up to the mark, then that's humility. We need to repent for two things: for all the mistakes we have done in the past, and for our inability or disinclination to perform bhakti the way we are supposed to perform. So that induces humility in us. Whatever makes us humble brings us one step closer to Krishna. If awareness of one's own shortcomings is making us humble and regretful and repentant, we are one step towards Krishna, to the degree that repentance is genuine. Does it make sense, Prabhu? Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. Is there going to be a part 2 of this to continue and to continue the series?
There is part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 10. But when, I don't know. We didn't even enter even one quality thoroughly. It's just like an intro kind of thing.
So my question is on material desires. It seems like chanting and association is like the medicine for everything, but is there a specific medicine for material desires, or how to combat it?
Yes, there is. The solution or the medicine is service to Guru. All our material desires are like ripples on a river, on a flowing river. Will they ever stop? On a flowing river, the ripples will ever stop? Never. But when the river meets the ocean, the tides, the high waves of the ocean will overwhelm these insignificant ripples. When the river merges with the ocean, what is visible? The waves of the ocean or the ripples of the river? The conditioned soul's desires for sense gratification, material desires, are like ripples on a river, and Guru's desires to serve Krishna are like waves of an ocean. So when the disciple meets Guru, when the conditioned soul takes shelter of a Guru and starts acting according to the instructions of a Vaishnava Guru, then material desires will just go away, ego will go away, pride will go away, and Krishna's service will take over. So, in short, getting rid of material desires is possible by rendering service to Guru and acting according to Guru's instructions, Guru's plans for Krishna's seva. Participating in the services given by spiritual master. One more is there, one more way. Lord Narasimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu on Narasimha Chaturdasi recently, we celebrated. Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means bed. In this material world, people are very much desirous of sense enjoyment and wealth. But Narasimhadev just killed Hiranyakashipu and then just pulled out all the intestines and wore them like a garland. Basically, he killed Hiranyakashipu, who is a representative or personification of all material desires. When we offer prayer to Narasimhadev to destroy our material desires, he will destroy. Parallelly, when we render services to Guru, then material desires are automatically eradicated. Makes sense? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. My question is, what's the difference between self-defense and violence?
What's the difference between violence and?
Self-defense.
Oh, self-defense. Very good. For self-defense, one may have to be a bit violent. A very thoughtful question from a little boy. For self-defense, one may have to exhibit a reasonable and appropriate amount of violence. They are different. They are different in the sense that the purpose is different. They can become one for a specific purpose. But if you see violence as violence only, without any cause, it's bad. But if self-defense becomes the cause of violence, it's dharma. Arjuna had a philosophy of so-called non-violence in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What did Krishna say? Klaibyam masmagamaha partha naitatvayi upapadyate kshudram hridaya dorpalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa tyaktva yuddhasva vigatajvaraha. Perform your duty of fighting. Kill people. Be violent. He said. Arjuna said, I want to be non-violent. Krishna said, be violent. Don't be emotional. Don't be sentimental. Don't think on a bodily plane. If violence is required to establish dharma, one may have to do that. But that has to be minimized as much as possible, and it has to be avoided as much as possible. But Duryodhana's obstinacy and stubbornness and pride and arrogance and selfishness and greed did not leave any scope for Pandavas to remain non-violent. So they had to exhibit some violence to establish dharma. Not only for self-defense, but also trying to protect the interests of all the citizens in Hastinapur. When a Kshatriya is violent, that violence is not just self-defense. That violence is for protecting dharma, protecting common people. Does it make sense?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for your class. I had a question. You mentioned that an inferiority complex has no place in a devotee's heart. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on what that would look like and how we could practically work on that.
Yeah, very good. Inferiority complex and superiority complex, both are two shades of false ego. What is ego? Ego is basically a sense of identity, right? I am this, I am that. You identify yourself with something other than soul, other than our spiritual identity as servant of Krishna. So that false sense of identity is called false ego. If I identify myself as inferior to somebody on a material plane, they are more talented than me, they are more influential than me, they are more popular compared to me, they are more experienced than me, they are in a much higher position than me in the hierarchy. So all these thoughts may make one feel inferior to others, and that may induce inferiority complex. Feeling inferior means, of course, I am inferior to you, you are superior to me. That's fine, that's humility. But we are talking about inferiority complex, which is basically envy. I am here and they are here, and I am being uncomfortable because of this fact. That discomfort that one feels because of being in an inferior position is product of false ego. But when one acknowledges he is superior to me, I am inferior to you, I am younger to you, I am junior to you, I am subordinate to you, you are much elevated than me. That acknowledgement is not inferiority complex, it's either humility or just accepting the fact. To that degree it is fine. But if being in that inferior position or awareness of one's inferior position is making one uncomfortable, making one feel envious, jealous of others, being very intolerant of others' better position, that is ego. That's a shade of false ego. One has to avoid it by all means, and that may make one envious and get into some destructive tendencies. Envy is basically envying Krishna, ultimately speaking. How is envy envying Krishna? Without Krishna's sanction, will this devotee be in a good position? Will this devotee have more talents than me, be in a better position than me? Not possible, right? So if I am not happy, or if I am being uncomfortable for this person's better position compared to me, I am going against Krishna's decision. I am not sanctioning Krishna's sanction. No, I am not accepting what Krishna has sanctioned upon this devotee. That's envy, which will completely go against Krishna's will, and that's envy towards Krishna. So envy is basically envy towards Krishna. Envy is also self-envy. Before I could harm the person whom I am envious of, I have already harmed myself. I lost my peace of mind. Because of being uncomfortable seeing someone else's superior position, I have lost my own peace of mind. I have a sense of insecurity within. I'm not happy with what I am, what I have. That envy or inferiority complex makes one ungrateful. I have already received so many blessings. I have already, I'm a recipient of so much of fortune already. But I am envious of this person's good fortune. Means I am not being grateful for the fortune I have received. See, this one inferiority complex can make life so complex that one becomes envious, one becomes ungrateful, one becomes insecure, one even harms other people. One is indirectly or directly envious of Krishna, envious of Krishna's devotees, and envious of one's own self by disturbing one's own peace of mind. Is it sufficiently elaborate about inferiority complex?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranamam. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji, and your classes are already always wonderful. Okay, Prabhuji, my question is, I'm talking about myself. Like, as a practicing devotee, I don't have this Vaishnava characters. So how do I acquire these characteristics and how to maintain these characters to the rest of my life? Can you please give suggestions and some tips?
It's a lifetime project. Probably lifetime's project. To develop good character, like humility, gratitude, compassion, satisfaction, tolerance, kindness, patience, to develop all these qualities, one way is to associate with those devotees who have those qualities. At least somebody has humility little more than me. Somebody is more grateful than me. Somebody is more tolerant than me. Somebody is more respectful towards others than me. So let me associate with those people so that I develop those qualities. Secondly, we can study the characters of all the great devotees whose stories are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So those characters are not just some kind of fictitious characters who happen to be in storybooks, but they are live characters. They generate so much of inspiration dynamically. They have been generating so many positive vibrations and inspiration since 5,000 years at least, and before that also. But let's acknowledge the time when Vyasadeva has put Bhagavatam into writing. At least since then they have been inspiring, and before that they have inspired already so many people, because many of these characters are from millenniums, from the previous days of Brahma, sometimes from the previous yugas, previous manvantaras. So by studying the humility of Prahlad Maharaj, Haridas Thakur, compassion of Vasudeva Datta, tolerance of Bali Maharaj, by studying all these wonderful characters and analyzing their emotions, and studying the way Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas have explained their personalities, characters, so we can be inspired to cultivate this character. Makes sense?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your wonderful class. I was thinking about the quality of forgiveness. How can, when I'm being offended for some reason or something by someone, anybody advanced or low, neophyte or anybody, how I can cultivate that quality of forgiveness so that I don't mess up with my own devotional practices, and I keep thinking about it and like how to be peacefully executing the devotional
If
service.
someone has caused so much of disturbance in our lives, and the extent of problem created by them goes beyond our ability to tolerate, forgiveness becomes little difficult, naturally, for struggling sadhakas. But for elevated Vaishnavas, there is no forgiveness in their dictionary at all. They don't forgive because they never take offense only. They never take any offense, however grave it may be. Where is the question of forgiveness? Amrish Maharaj never forgave Durvasmani because he never took offense only. Although Durvasmani tried to kill Amrish Maharaj by creating a fiery demon just for taking a drop of water to break his Ekadashi fast, Amrish Maharaj did not move an inch from there. And Sudarshan Chakra killed this fiery demon and chased Durvasamani. And Durvasamani came back and fell at the feet of Amrish Maharaj after 1 year. In this 1 year, Amrish Maharaj was not rejoicing. Acha hua. Let Sudarshan Chakra kill him. I am just waiting for a report. Although I was tolerant as a Vaishnava, but good Sudarshan Chakra is teaching a lesson now. That 1 year he fasted. He did not even take prasad. He did not even take water also. How many Ekadashis passed in that 1 year? He did not take any, forget all the parent time, this and that. He is just fasting for 1 year, thinking that I have offended this Brahmana. He did not take offense. That's at one level. He thought he offended. He is a sage, I am a householder. He is a sannyasi, I am a grahastha. He is a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya. So he only found that Durvasamani is in all ways, from Varna perspective, from ashram perspective, from age perspective, from his renunciation perspective, he is superior to me, and I could not feed him a meal. Without feed him, how can I take a meal? That is humility. So when great devotees are there, they don't even take offense only. You know Gopal Chapal's story? Gopal Chapal tried to prove that Srivas Thakur was a Shakta worshipper by keeping some Kali worship paraphernalia in front of his home. Srivas Thakur never took that offense. But Mahaprabhu took that offense. And Gopal Chapal got leprosy all over his body. So when devotee is very exalted, they don't even take offense. So there is no question of forgiveness. But those who are not yet very mature or advanced in bhakti, they may sometimes get offended, depending on the degree of damage or offense made by other person. When we are unable to forgive, considering the seriousness of the damage created, you know what we should do? We should go in front of deities, Radha Madhav, Nitai Gaur Chandra, Bhagavan, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, Giriraj, and pray for the ability to forgive. Krishna, somehow I am unable to forgive and forget this. But can you please give me that ability to forgive? I want to forgive. My desire is to forgive, but somehow my material mind is not allowing to forgive. Although the heart is saying, forgive, forgive, forgive. But I want to forgive because forgiveness pleases you. I want to please you. Samsiddhar Haritoshanam. So we need to pray to Krishna to give us the ability to forgive. And we need to focus on, again, we need to focus on their good qualities. What this great, although this devotee has done this mistake, or he hurt me in this way, he said something or did something that made me feel very bad or hurt, still this devotee has done so many other good things. Let me focus on it. Start verbally glorifying the devotee. verbally acknowledge the greatness of the devotee. Serve him. Do something to get rid of this grudge. When we are forgiving, the first person whom we are benefiting is ourselves. When we are not forgiving, we are holding the big burden of grudge, negativity on our heads or hearts. It's very heavy. Carrying that load with us and moving everywhere, it's so heavy. When we forgive, we are just relieving ourselves from all that burden. I'm free now, hands free. I don't have to hold anything. So for all practical purposes, valid reasons, we need to forgive. And we need to come to a stage where we don't have to forgive only. Means we don't take any offense. Okay, we'll conclude here. Regarding your question of humility and inferiority complex, one little story. Let's conclude with a story. Once there was a devotee who wanted to get initiated by a guru. He went to Guru in Vrindavan. He said, I want initiation, Diksha from you. Can you please give me Diksha? And the Guru said, of course I'll give you Diksha. But by tomorrow, you need to bring a person who is inferior to you in some way. You should prove yourself greater than at least one person in this entire town of Vrindavan. Then I'll initiate you. I will not initiate for free. I want my disciples to be greater than at least some people. Okay, great. He came out. One person, can't I find? One day. In 1 minute I can find. So he came out to the Guru's campus, ashram, and he called the rickshawala to go home. He boarded the rickshaw and thought, oh, this rickshawala is definitely inferior to me. Because I'm paying him. He's surviving based on my payment. I'm better than him. Tomorrow I'll present him to my Guru. Then he'll initiate me. But by the time he reached home, he thought that, my God, I don't have the ability to go home on my own. And this rickshawala is taking me to home. Definitely he's better than me. I cannot show this person to my Guru. He started analyzing. Then he found some sabji people. Sabji market is there on his street. He went and purchased some sabji and thought, okay, I think these people are inferior to me. I can present them to my Guru. Then later he thought, I am unable to grow my own vegetables. I cannot eat these notes. All this currency, I cannot eat this currency. They are growing vegetables, they are farmers, they are feeding me. I think definitely they are better than me. I am not better. I'm inferior to them. So like that, the whole day, whomever he saw, he found in them at least one quality better than himself. And he thought, at least from this perspective, I'm inferior to this person. He couldn't find a single person. Next day morning, he got up with so much of moroseness, sadness. He thought, oh, I may not get initiation today. I couldn't find a single person. Then he went to pass stool. In his stool, he found some worms. He thought these stool worms are inferior to me, at least. I found somebody. I may not be able to carry to my Guru's ashram. I can at least inform. Then, after a while, he thought, I am eating nice Krishna Prasadam and converting it into stool. And here are some stool worms who are making a living out of it. I don't have that ability. They are definitely better than me. I am inferior to them. Then he went to Guru and said, my dear Guru, I could not find a single person who is inferior to me. I am really sorry. I am not qualified for initiation. Let me leave. Then Guru said, now you are qualified for initiation. This humility has multiple qualities, multiple, facets. One facet is to see the greatness of other person, to see the glory of other person. Not to be so overwhelmed with one's own glory, one's own greatness, one's own powers, but to genuinely see other people better than others, better than ourselves, at least from some perspective. So when we acknowledge someone else's greatness or good qualities or superiority, at least from some perspectives, compared to us, that is humility. So when we have that humility, and this is feeling inferior to others, it's not inferiority complex. When it is inferiority complex, you feel envious of the person who is superior to you. But when you're feeling just inferior, then you acknowledge their superiority, there is no envy there. That's humility. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think we were waiting for this day for weeks and months. Used to hear online, but just listening in person, and what wonderful explanation of these qualities we have. Hopefully, we can imbibe some of the qualities and follow Sri Prabhupada's footsteps. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for coming. Really appreciate that.
Hare Krishna. I have a short announcement. Let me pull up one thing. There's a wonderful devotee. His name is Haripashad Prabhu. He's from Mumbai, but is known worldwide for his wonderful devotion and knowledge of scriptures, and with practical wisdom and realization he shares with everyone. So he's a wonderful source of inspiration. So Prabhuji is coming from tomorrow in this area. For next about 10 days he's here. I'll mention few things, what are the programs briefly. And if anybody has not seen the flyer yet, please reach me. It's in the temple WhatsApp group also. I can share with you flyer, and also share with me who are coming, so that way right remote of prasadam can be made. Essentially, there are 3 home programs next 3 days. It starts at 6:30 every day, tomorrow, day after, and following day. And then also in the temple on June 1st and 2nd, there's a temple program at 5 p.m. also. So we're encouraging everyone to please come and take association of sadhu, like Prabhuji, Gaurang Darshan Prabhu also indicated. Sadhu Sangha, value of Sadhu Sangha for all of us. So please do come. If you've not seen the flyer yet, please let me know so I can share with you. And please tell me how many of you are coming, how many of your friends are coming for each program. There's a poll also in the temple group. You can answer that poll directly. If that is difficult for you, you can tell me. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.